So Pat Brady joins us again now, as does the former mayor, Lori Lightfoot. And Pat, I want to talk to you just a little bit about Adam Kinzinger. And he's not only a speaker tonight, he's, I think, third to last. He's just about right before Kamala Harris.
Probably, yeah.
What does that say about how important the Democratic Party thinks he is to this election?
Well, this election is going to be won by the 9 or 10% that are undecided. And Kamala Harris needs to make the case that she's an alternative to Donald Trump. There's a lot of people that don't like Trump but aren't thrilled with voting for a Democrat, and she has to present herself as a viable alternative. And I think Kinzinger's imprimatur on her campaign does that. And he's fought against Trump more than anybody I know. And he gets up tonight and says, listen, I've seen this guy firsthand. He tried to overthrow our government, and he should never be in the White House again. There are people like Adam and myself that just aren't going to vote for anybody that did that. So I think it's very important for him to be up there tonight.
Mayor, your thoughts on this, specifically because I know that you, in the time that you're around here, a lot of times people are coming up to you. You're getting mobbed in the hallways. But what has the response been when you talk to people who are not just staunch Democrats, but maybe independents, maybe those who are seeing these videos and listening to someone like Adam Kinzinger and trying to make a decision?
I do think the former Trump officials, appointees have had a real impact. And I think Pat's right that for those Republicans, frankly, who are looking for a home, those independents that are looking for a home, when they see that number of, you see one or two, that's not unusual in conventions in years past on both sides, but the parade of people who work directly with former President Trump were senior aides, close aides, and are saying this man is a danger, he's a threat, he cannot get back in. Here's a home for you. You're voting to save democracy. I think that message is really resonating with people out there who probably are like, I've never voted for a Democrat before, but recognize that this is the time to break with tradition, not stay home, but cast a ballot for our country, for our democracy.
And it's almost, if you're like me, you're catching grief from Republicans for not supporting Trump, which I never have. And Adam's done it in spades and had death threats. But to me, it's just a bright line. You tried to overthrow our government. You've been indicted for it. I read the January 6th report. What he did, nobody should ever get near that White House that did what he did. And for some reason, it's kind of lost on people. But that's the worst thing that's happened. He makes Nixon look like a misdemeanor guy, the stuff that he did. And he should never, ever be near that White House.
Pat, there are Republicans, I'm sure, who think that you're just absolutely wrong about this. And
well, you know what? I'm basing that on I actually have read the indictments and I read the January 6th report. So they can have their opinion. But to me, I think you are, as an elected official particularly, if you are not paying attention to that and doing the right thing on this, then you're shirking your duty. You cannot support this.
Well, we were laughing with Rodney Davis the other day about how you were no longer welcome in the Republican Party, and same goes.
I've been kicked out of a lot of places.
He said he's not welcome in a lot of places, including my house. But I guess my question is, what does this say about the Republican Party, Pat? And if they're going to cast aside an Adam Kinzinger who voted with Trump more than members of the Freedom Caucus, because he wouldn't get in line with Trump.
Well, but
where does the party go?
Well, it's a great question, but look what happened in Milwaukee. We were up there. There was no Paul Ryans, no George Bush, no former. It's the cult party there. And when he's gone, and I think he's going to end up losing this thing, when he loses this thing, I think the party will get back to this is not, the Republican Party is not the traditional Republican values that I grew up with, not the Reagan-McCain kind of party. I think when he's gone, we can get back to it. If not, the Republicans are going to be irrelevant.
So, Mayor, you hear that. He just said you think he's going to lose this at this stage.
Today I do. Listen, there's irrational exuberance in this hall right now on this race. This is a very tight race, but she's turned it around in 4 weeks.
No.
Tonight, she can keep it going. I think she can.
Okay.
And the betting odds are on her too, but we've got 70 days to go.
Yeah, 70 days, and it took 30 days for us to see this change after President Biden stepped down. Are you as optimistic about that coming out of the convention?
Well, look, I'm always cautious. And, you look back on recent elections where Democrats have been viable. If people take things for granted, if they assume the end, like, frankly, in my race the last time, in Hillary's race in 2016, and I'm not trying to equate the two, all this enthusiasm means nothing if people don't get their family, their friends. I was just talking to somebody in the hallway, of a very, very prominent African-American family who said, I got a cousin who is a Trump person. And those things are happening. So we've got to translate all this energy, all this enthusiasm, happiness to be together into real concrete action between now and Election Day. There's got to be a significant investment in GOTV all across the state.
I was just talking to a very smart Democratic operative out in the hallway. We're talking about this content creator thing. That might be a difference maker in this race, because I don't think the Republicans have the same influencer base that the Democrats do. And this stuff that's going on here, I think could have a big impact on the people, 35 and under.
Yes.
Well, on that note, that's actually what we're about to go to now, right, Joe?
Yeah, just on the way out of this, it's important to point out that Pat Brady has taken his own path before. He's the only state party chairman of the Republican Party to vote or support same-sex marriage.
It's a no-brainer. It's like Tim Walz says, it's none of my damn business. And that's what conservatism used to be until it got hijacked by the social conservatives. It turned the party in, and it started in the mid-'90s. But, why would you care what somebody does, who you love? That's your own business. That used to be the conservative philosophy.
No, I mean, if I can just, this last note, the Republican Party now looks nothing like the Republican Party that Pat grew up in. My closest mentor, Ty Fainer, the former Attorney General, a Republican through and through, I don't recognize who these people are. And I think many Republicans don't.
Well, Mayor, Pat, stay with us.
I guess my Republican card just got yanked.
That happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
The Republicans still talk to you. That's what's
Right.
amazing.
We
All right,
talk
thank
to
you
everybody.
both.
But you gave us a perfect segue, because actually, just to give you a little background here, we're up here on what we call the penthouse level, and the halls are full of influencers. Social media content is major.
I've been telling them about the 80s.
Oh, my goodness. That's great.